I'm going to let you in on the process of altering the pair of leather pants that I've made. It's fairly easy. Well, I'm just going to show you. There's a lot of different ways of doing things. You may know a different way, and that's cool. And I may discover a different way. But this is one of the ways that I use to tighten a pair of leathers that have stretched out, usually in the ass or in the thighs. Here we go. And there's not a whole lot wrong with these, but they are a little bit baggy, and you can see that the crotch is a little bit, well, it's as tight as it can go. So what we'll do is loosen that up, just like that, and then retighten it, or tie it rather. And then on the sides, there's still some room there. So I'm going to give it more room. Not terribly tight. And then reposition it. You can see in here where I got it pretty tight. And the purpose of having side lace leathers, in my opinion, is to see the lacing. Now down here around the knee, we've got quite a bit of that we can expand them. Just retighten them. And the knees on leather pants, if you've never owned any, you might not understand, or might not can relate, but the knees tend to what I call bag out, usually pretty badly. See how tight that was laced up. My ride's here. It's just a garbage truck. Now see, by making this wider, then I know how much I had to work with. Now take the back, but you can either mark the leather with like tailor's chalk or even a pen or a pencil, so long as you get rid of the mark, you'll be okay. There's also a clip method, but I can't find my clips. It's those things you find in offices and cubicles and stuff. It's a little black metal with two little shiny things, and you can clip a stack of papers together. They work really well for leather as well. You can see there's quite a lot there. Quite a lot. And then I'm also going to cut out a little bit here in the inseam. Yeah, quite a bit. So you can do a pinch test and see how much room you want. Now that would look a lot better to have that much of the backing behind the lacing showing. And the goal, of course, with these leathers and well, any of the leathers that I work on, is to make them, as close to skin tight as I can get away with. I want them to look, kind of like these, but with the side lacing, showing down the side. So, anyway, I'm going to show you what they look like from the ground up. I'm proud of these too. I made them as well. Now take a blade, a razor blade. This is a utility knife blade, and you can of course put them in a utility knife, or you can just wear gloves and do it. but you basically just cut what you need off. that's pretty much it as far as the cutting goes. Okay, now that we've made that cut, you need to put holes in it for going back with leather stitching. Now, there's different tools available. There's different ways of doing it. You can also just get a needle for leather crafting, and you can sew it up with sinew and just stick that needle through there. It's a little harder on the fingers, a little more time consuming. Then there's the punches. This is an 8-hole punch, and this is a 4. This you use a hammer, and you just, you know, keep hitting it with a hammer, and you just keep going down, and that's fine. It's labor saving. It's fairly fast. However, after so much punching, let's see if I can get this on the camera, the 8 one tends to just kind of fall over to the side, and it will eventually completely collapse this way. So I really don't like that as much. And then there's the old trusty hole puncher. It works pretty well. You just line it up, and you want your holes about every 1/4 of an inch on both sides. And you just keep punching. I like to make sure that the hole goes all the way through. The drawback to this method is that you sometimes get little hangers. Oh, remember the election of 2000 hanging chads? Well, I guess this is hanging leather chad. Those can be an issue that you have to go back through and make sure that you cut them all the way down. Okay, just a quick word about screwing up. When you're leather crafting, you have a little bit more leeway than you do in maybe other mediums, where you can fix a screw up without too much difficulty. Like if I were to slip and use my blade a little bit offline or something, I can always come back in and lay in another piece of leather and make it look like it was made that way. That's why I like working with leather and wood too, you know, and carpentry and stuff, is that it's easy to fix little boo-boos, little mistakes that you made. So anyway, don't sweat it if you screw it up. A screw up is an opportunity for you to figure out how to fix it. And then after making all the holes like so, then we restitch. Now there's different types of needles, there's different types of things. You can use sinew. I'm using basically a leather string, leather thread, thong, whatever you want to call it. It's relatively pliable. It's like made of suede. And this is a little needle. It's specially designed with little teeth, 2 little teeth that grip it and hold it onto the needle. Now I've already lined up. You start with a waistband. If I was just doing legs, I would probably start, you know, all the way down at the hem, just to get things to come out even. Now if you start at the waist and you encounter any kind of a problem, you can do a lot in the ass. I know that's really terrible, very un-PC of me, but then I wouldn't be me if I wasn't politically incorrect. Anyway, try to keep my hand out of this. I've already gone through once for the first one, and then I just line them up, go through the next one,
if you set your hole puncher at a fairly good size, it's relatively easy as opposed to that 8-hole punch thing that I was showing you. Those don't make really big holes for this kind of thread. And then we go back underneath. It's really just like sewing any other material, except it's a little thicker, maybe a little less forgiving. You don't normally have to have a thong this long, the long thong. It just happened to work out that way. These were actually the side laces, but I don't have any more of this color, so I'm going to use it to stitch with. Now notice that I tuck my first part that came through. I want to tuck that into my loop. Now there's different ways of doing this as well, but this is a way that I find works pretty well. It'll keep that loop, or that tail rather, it'll keep that nice and tight. It won't pull out on me, you know, whether I'm straddling the bike or whatever. Because the last thing you want to do is have a seam just bust on you when you're out in public, especially if you're away from home, like a long way away from home. I think I've only had that happen one time with one pair. I knew better. You know, I used skins that were, I used the edge of the cowhide actually. And it was a disaster. And it was, of course, on the seat of the leathers. Naturally. So I had a nice air-conditioned ride home that day. I cut my trip a little bit short. Anyway, that's how you do that. Not rocket science. It's relatively easy. This is leather, stitching leather. It will last a very, very long time. I've not had anything wear out yet. But anyway, there you go. And then they're done. All that remains after doing the stitching is to relace the sides and snug them up. I think I got a much better fit. You know, they hug my body the way leathers are supposed to hug. I'm satisfied with them. I had at one point thought about stripping finish off and re-dyeing them, but I decided not to. I kind of like this color. It's weird. It's kind of an olive green color. But they're buttery soft, thick, and they're just really, really nice. So, hope that was worth watching the whole video. One of these days I will make start to finish video showing, you know, how I do it, where the pattern comes from, etc., etc. Anyway, hope you like them as much as I do.